On her wedding day, the bride was brutally stabbed by her groom. As she bled out on the floor, he leaned in and told her he had never loved her, that her body was as cold and hard as a corpse, and that her sister was 100 times more charming. Then he stabbed her again. But just as she took her last breath, she opened her eyes. She found herself sitting in a car, alive, 1 month before the wedding was supposed to take place. She had been reborn. Her best friend beside her worried.
吓死我了，我还以为你出事了呢。
发生什么事儿了？
你不是约我去跟贺腾祈福吗？
祈福？今天多少号啊？
Thinking she was having a nightmare. But the woman was remembering the horrifying truth of her past life. Her fiancé, the man she had loved for 10 years, had been secretly giving her birth control pills while claiming they were health supplements. The deception made her infertile and led to her murder. In her previous life, her loyal friend had also been killed. Now, with a second chance, the woman knew she had to change her fate. She saw a man outside the car, Julian Vance, her fiancé's mortal enemy, and realized he might be her only path to revenge. She stepped out of the car and walked straight up to him, pinning him against his vehicle. Her friend rushed out, confused, reminding her this man was a known scoundrel and that she was engaged. But the woman ignored her, her mindset set. Looking him dead in the eye, she told him her wedding was on the 18th and dared him to come and crash it. He smirked and agreed. Later, she got a call from her fiancé, the man who had murdered her. He asked if she'd had a good day and even asked if she prayed they would have a child soon. The cold hypocrisy sent a chill down her spine. She hung up and told her friend it was a good thing she wasn't dead yet. The strange comment shocked her friend, who thought she must be sick. The woman then returned to her family home.
晶晶啊，你不是去和他祈福去了吗？这么快就回来了？
Seeing her unsuspecting parents who had also been part of her suffering, the woman took a deep breath and told her father she wanted to call off the wedding.
我到今天才知道，贺腾根本就不爱我，跟我结婚只是为了我们孟家的财产。
Her mother was shocked, but her father surprised her by being supportive, saying he would stand by her no matter what. He only worried the sudden cancellation might cause a scandal. She assured him that on the wedding day, it would be the fiancé's family, not theirs, who would be humiliated. To put her plan in motion, she went to a luxury store and used the VIP credit card Julian Vance had given her. The shop owner was stunned and revealed the card had no spending limit. Realizing her new ally was as powerful as the rumor said, she went on a massive shopping spree. Seated in a nightclub, Julian Vance got multiple alerts for huge transactions, each worth millions. His friend was shocked, but Julian just smiled and said he had to be generous with his future wife and mentioned he was getting married soon. Confused, his friend chased after him for an explanation. Later, Julian met the woman outside her building. He was skeptical, asking why she would suddenly want to team up with him when everyone knew she'd been in love with his enemy. She simply told him to come to her wedding and see for himself. He agreed. Back at home, her cousin the uncle's daughter acted innocent, offering tea, then accidentally spilling it and burning herself. As she cried out, the uncle blamed his niece. But the woman didn't fall for it.
这是爷爷生前最喜欢的茶具，你现在把它打碎了，你赔得起。
Her uncle raged at her for embarrassing the family. Her father calmly defended her, telling his brother to mind his own business and pointing out that his own daughter from an affair was the real problem. Her father's unwavering support gave her strength. Her mother, still unaware of the full story, worried about her daughter's sudden change. The woman reassured her, saying she'd finally realized that being kind only led to being taken advantage of, and that from now on she would protect the family at all costs. Seeing her newfound resolve, her parents promised to support her no matter what. Later at the charity event, her fiancé, still reeling from the public humiliation, couldn't understand her new confidence. He told her she didn't need to work so hard because he would take care of her for the rest of their lives. She knew it was all lies. He took her hand and led her away, planning to introduce her to his family. This, she realized, was her chance to start dismantling his world, one piece at a time. Moments earlier, she had been with her fiancé's family, who showered her with fake praise and called her a perfect match made in heaven. She knew the truth. They were only being nice so they could trick her into marrying their son and steal her family's fortune. Now, at the charity auction, her revenge was about to begin. She pointed to a priceless sapphire necklace and told her fiancé she wanted it. To keep up appearances, he had no choice but to promise he would buy it for her, even though his family was secretly on the verge of bankruptcy. As the bidding started, her fiancé confidently shouted a bid of $8 million. In the next second, Julian Vance walked in and instantly bid $10 million. The fiancé was furious, but the woman knew his pride wouldn't let him back down in public. He foolishly bid $11 million. Without hesitation, Julian raised the price to a shocking $20 million. Her fiancé froze, utterly humiliated as he realized he couldn't afford it. He looked to his mother for help, but she just shook her head. Julian easily won the necklace. Then he walked straight over to the woman, placed the priceless necklace around her neck, and said it belonged to her. Her fiancé erupted in rage, accusing him of trying to shame him, but she simply smiled, thanked Julian, and walked away, leaving her fiancé defeated and disgraced. Later that night, she met Julian Vance in secret. He was smug, thinking she had orchestrated the whole thing because she truly loved him. She played along and handed him a bank card to pay for the necklace. But he refused the money, pushing the card back into her hand and calling the $30 million necklace a betrothal gift, a down payment for their future together. Julian secretly told his friend he was serious about marrying the woman, even if it meant stealing her away. He was confident he could win her over, but his friend called him insane and warned him he was playing a dangerous game by openly trying to steal another man's fiancée. Meanwhile, the woman's friend showed her the scandalous news headlines about the charity auction. Everyone was talking about how her fiancé was publicly humiliated for not spending big to win her heart, while Julian shamelessly spent a fortune on her. But her friend didn't realize the woman had orchestrated the whole event to expose her fiancé's family as frauds. Later, she went to visit her grandmother but was met with hostility. Her grandmother accused her of having no manners and was angry she had brought her mother along. The woman wasn't intimidated. She knew her grandmother had always looked down on them, and in her past life that cruel woman had eventually driven her mother to her death. She stood up to her and said that since she wasn't a real member of the family, she had no right to claim any of their inheritance. The grandmother was furious and screamed that the woman had inherited all the family's money, yet dared to disrespect her. The woman calmly reminded her that the family fortune wasn't hers to claim, leaving the old woman speechless and defeated. She then turned to leave, but before she did, she deliberately taunted her cousin for tattling on her about the auction, where she had accepted a priceless sapphire and caused the powerful Harrison family's son to lose face. Enraged, the grandmother declared she still had the final say. The woman simply smirked and pulled out the very sapphire causing the trouble, sarcastically offering it to her grandmother as a gift. She knew the proud old woman would never accept it. Her cousin accused her of showing off, but the woman reminded them that as merchants, the family should never refuse a good deal. The matriarch warned her that if she sabotaged the arranged marriage with the Harrison family, she would be thrown out for good. But the woman countered by reminding the grandmother of her own past indiscretions, specifically how she had brought an illegitimate daughter into the family without a second thought. The shocking accusation made the old woman clutch her chest and gasp for air. As the woman and her mother got ready to leave, her uncle blocked their path. She taunted him for not even being at work and suggested their grandfather made the right call, giving the company to her father instead of him. That was the last straw. The uncle lunged to strike her, but her mother threw herself in front to protect her. The woman warned him furiously that if he dared lay a hand on them, she would sue him. Her uncle could only watch them walk away as he vowed he wouldn't let them get off so easily. Later, her father came home with urgent news. The Harrison family had called and demanded a meeting to discuss the wedding. Her parents were stunned when she calmly agreed to go and promised to do exactly what the Harrisons asked, hiding the real plan. When the woman and her fiancé entered the private room, photographers' flashes went off, capturing the union of two of the city's most powerful families. But the woman knew the meeting was a sham. The Harrison patriarch greeted her father warmly and pushed to finalize the wedding plans fast. Only the woman knew the real reason for the rush. The Harrison company's stock had just crashed, and they were desperate. The patriarch bragged that his family was one of the city's 4 great houses and told her father to name any price for the marriage. Her father replied that he had no demands since everything he owned would one day be his daughter's anyway. The future mother-in-law piped up and said all she wanted was for the woman to provide an heir. The words hit the woman like a physical blow and triggered a horrible memory. She flashed back to years ago with the same woman forcing a bowl of dark liquid to her lips and screaming for her to drink. In that instant, she remembered the truth. For years, the future mother-in-law had secretly been giving her birth control to stop her from having a Harrison heir. Back in the present, the patriarch revealed his real motive. He said he had an e-commerce project that needed a $2 billion investment and was hoping her father would help. Before her father could answer, the woman smiled innocently and said she'd heard of the project, but the total needed was only $200 million, not $2 billion. The room froze. Her father tried to hush her, but she kept going and asked why a great family would need a loan for a guaranteed success. Cornered, the patriarch admitted his company's cash flow was in trouble. The woman pressed harder and asked if the $2 billion would be repaid if the business failed. The patriarch, flustered, insisted it would. With a cold look of victory, the woman told her father to write an IOU, shattering the idea of a family partnership and exposing their desperate plea for a bailout. With her plan moving forward, the woman proposed a toast and suggested specific repayment terms be added to the IOU. The Harrison patriarch, backed into a corner, reluctantly agreed. She handed the document to her fiancé and asked him to check the details she had added. He panicked and tried to refuse, but she sweetly insisted he was the expert. She then read the terms aloud, a 6-month repayment deadline with 7% of the Harrison company's shares as collateral. Her fiancé coughed and faked surprise, but she acted like she hadn't noticed. Seeing no way out, the patriarch accepted the terms, and her father reluctantly agreed to the loan. As her family left, the patriarch screamed at his son for letting things get so out of control. His wife swore that once the wedding was over, she would make the woman pay for the humiliation. Back home, the woman's parents praised her for the brilliant move that saved them from a bad investment. Her father admitted he finally saw the Harrison family's wolfish nature. The woman said she had a much bigger plan, but before she could explain, she went to a nightclub to meet Julian Vance. Inside, she found him celebrating with friends and pulled him aside. She told him she needed his help and explained she knew about his scandals and planned to expose them all at the wedding to ruin the Harrison family. Julian was stunned by her cold ruthlessness and wondered how he could trust someone willing to plot against their own future.